Have you ever wondered to see the Intel Core i3, i5, and i7 symbol and thought, what does that mean? And now Intel has also been using its new i9 generation from quite some time. There's also written, for example, i7-8565U 1.8 GHz up to 4.6 GHz and i7-9750H 2.6 GHz boost up to 4.5 GHz. Also wonder what are these weird alphabetic numeric combination. And you have also probably seen i7-8550U and wondered which processor is powerful, i7-8565U or i7-8550U, or which laptop to buy. Then don't worry guys, I am QBH from Tech Engineer and I am here to explain it as simple as possible for you guys who are just like me and want to decode them before buying a new laptop according to their needs, or just want to know about these weird alphabetic numeric combination. These Core i3, i5, i7 and i9 are actually processors which are developed by a company named Intel. And Intel is a company which is famously known in the world to make all these different kind of processors for computers and laptops. Now the first question is, what is a processor? Processor is a logic circuit that processes the set of instructions in order to run a computer or laptop. This is also known as CPU, which is the main and crucial part of a computer and is responsible for interpreting the instruction given by the user. Although we also call a processor a CPU, but in actual a CPU is not only a processor in a computer. GPU is an example of that, which is a graphic processing unit. The first processor that was commercially available was introduced by Intel in early 1970s. The base clock speed of that processor was 108 kHz that could be scaled up to 740 kHz. Pretty damn slow, according to nowadays processors whose base clock speed normally is in GHz. There are a lot of other processors released in between by Intel, but they are none of my concern, and I am sure not to yours, unless or until you are a tech historian or a passionate. I am also a passionate, but this much passion in a person will probably give him a nickname of tech nerd. In 2006, Intel launched Core 2 Duo processor, and if you are old enough like me to use the computer at that time, then you guys probably know what I'm talking about. After the success of Core 2 Duo processors, Intel quickly followed with quad core versions, which are known as Core to Quad series for the desktop. Now I will explain to you guys what actually cores are. In order to understand i3, i5, i7, you need to understand the cores. And if you have some knowledge about Earth core, might be easy for you to understand these cores. But keep in mind, they are nothing like Earth cores. A core is a part of a CPU that receives instructions and performs calculations or actions based on those instructions. For example, if you click on your laptop for opening up a file and also a music video, those commands are processed by the core and then they complete your desired action. Processors can have a single core or multiple cores. A processor with two cores is called a dual core processor. Four cores is quad core. There are also 6 and 8 core processors which are relatively common. The more cores a processor has, the more set of instructions the processor can receive and process at the same time, which makes the computer faster. Intel has launched Core i series first time in 2008. These can be scaled up to 8 cores and 3.3 GHz clock speed. You can tell if a CPU belongs to Intel i series family by looking at the number directly. For example, i3, i5, i7 or i9 in the processor name. An Intel Core i9 9900K is a 9th generation processor CPU. An i7-8550U is an 8th generation chipset and i7-7500U is from 7th generation. Intel has a weird way of giving name to its i-series generation of processors. For example, Skylake for 6th generation, Kaby Lake for 7th generation, Coffee Lake for 8th generation. And 9th generation processors are also known as Coffee Lake, and some of them are called Cannon Lake. Well, you guys must have guessed by now that next generation is also lake related, and it is called Ice Lake for 10th generation. I think someone in Intel at higher level management is really obsessed with lakes, so they are naming it lake after lake after lake. As I am talking to you guys now, Intel 10th generation has already been launched and available in some laptops, especially in Dell, as per my information. While most of the companies are still stuck with 8th generation, and some gaming laptops in 9th generation are available. The Core i3 is a dual-core or quad-core computer processor, available for use in both desktop and laptop. A Core i3 chip is on the lower end of performance that's best suited for budget computer. The Core i3 is available in multiple speeds, ranging the base frequency from 1.20 GHz, like for example in Intel new i3 1005G1, up to 4 GHz and i3 9350K processor. For the processor base frequency, I am taking Intel's latest 10th generation. So guys, if you see some different processor base frequency, just chill out, because probably you are looking for an older i3 generation. Core i3 processors are most often found as dual core, having two cores. However, a few high-end Core i3 processors are quad core, featuring 4 cores. The Core i5 is a computer processor available in quad core or 6 cores. A Core i5 chip is on the mid-range of performance that's suited for casual users and power users on a budget. It can be used in both desktop and laptop computers. The Core i5 processor is available in multiple base speeds, ranging from 1.80 GHz up to 3.80 GHz. Core i5 processors are most often found as quad-core. However, a select few high-end Core i5 processors feature 6 cores. Intel Core i7 is a line of Intel CPUs which span 8 generations of Intel chipsets. A Core i7 chip is on a higher end of the performance that's suited for power users and professionals, and it is for power-hungry apps or high-end gaming. The Core i7 features either 4 cores, 6 cores, and 8 cores, with stock frequencies between 2.6 GHz and 3.7 GHz. Intel Core i9 is a line of Intel CPUs introduced in May 2017 by Intel. Core i9 CPUs feature as few as 6 and as many as 18 cores. Its frequencies range from 2.9 to 3.6 GHz with boost up to 5.0 GHz when using Intel Turbo Boost. Now I will explain you guys the weird naming of Intel processors. For example, Intel Core i3 10110U. Intel has released a chart to explain his naming configuration for 10th generation. In this chart, the Intel Core is brand name, i7 is brand modifier, after the dash we have 10, which is generation indicator, that is followed by a SKU number, and it is a 2-digit SKU number in Ice Lake and a 3-digit SKU number in Comet Lake. A SKU is a number or a string of alphanumeric characters that uniquely identify a product. Then we have G7 in Ice Lake and U in Comet Lake. About them we will talk in a moment. Intel's chips have letters like K and U after the numbers that give you an idea for what kind of purpose and performance the computer is designed for. Some computers have Intel chips without any letters because they are standard base chip models. So we will start with U. U means the chip is designed for laptops and mobile devices, as U chips are Intel's ultra low power model. They are low power because they use even less power than the T models. By having slow clock speeds, they do not get as hot and have a low risk of heat-related damage. That's good for a thin laptop that have limited cooling compared to a larger desktops and laptops. Now we will move on to Y. Y stands for an extremely low power. The Y series often means you are getting lesser performance. Next letter is G. The G means the chip has a built-in graphics processor. Most of the Intel's chips come with a basic built-in graphics processor, so you can display something on your monitor without an entirely separate graphics card. But Intel's G processors come with a more powerful graphics processor for more power-hungry apps and games. Next letter is T. T means the chip is designed to use less power while also having less performance than the standard chips without any letters. The next letter is K. K chips are usually the fastest, with higher clock speeds than the standard chips without a letter in Intel's mainstream chips. It also means the chip is unlocked, where its clock speeds can be tweaked or overclocked by a user to squeeze out a little extra performance than what you get out of the box. There are also other letters, for example H, which stands for high performance graphics and normally used in gaming laptops. Some processor, for example i7-8565U and i7-8550U, may have the same number of cores and also they have same base clock speed like 1.8 GHz. Then the difference between them is that one will have higher boost speed over the other. Like i7-8565U has 4.6 GHz, which is more than i7-8500U whose boost speed is 4.0 GHz. So the i7-8565U is more powerful processor than i7-8550U. So guys, this is all for Intel Core processors. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and please subscribe for more technology related videos in future.